15. Security guards last night. Late-night jobs often carry an extra weight of silence. For one guard on duty, that silence was shattered by something far more unsettling than the usual creaks of an empty building. He began recording on his phone after a series of odd noises made him uneasy. At first, everything in the frame looked ordinary: an office hallway, the faint hum of fluorescent lights, and distant dogs barking outside. But then, the noises grew clearer, steady knocks echoing from behind a restroom door. The guard cautiously panned his camera toward the source. To his disbelief, the door slowly creaked open without anyone touching it. The timing was uncanny. Just seconds before, he had muttered a nervous comment about strange sounds in the building. The coincidence was chilling enough that he froze, whispering under his breath as if not to disturb whatever had caused it. What gives this moment more weight is the caption he typed across the screen: "One more night as a guard." Viewers have debated whether he meant it was literally his final scheduled shift, or if the experience convinced him to quit entirely. Either way, his words added a sense of finality, as though he knew he couldn't return after what unfolded. It's easy to rationalize what happened. Drafts, faulty hinges, or even pranks could explain why a door would swing open. Yet, the guard's reaction didn't look staged. His breathing quickened, his camera shook, and he appeared genuinely conflicted about whether to keep filming or leave. If you've ever worked a late-night shift alone, you know how quickly your mind can spin into overdrive when something feels out of place. What elevates this video above the usual strange noise clips is the way atmosphere, timing, and genuine fear come together. The barking dogs outside, the echoing knocks, and that caption create a layered sense of dread. Even if it was something entirely explainable, the story it told was enough to spark conversations across comment sections. Some viewers suggested he wasn't alone in that building. Others thought it might have been a playful spirit reminding him that his shift was ending. Regardless of what truly happened, the guard's decision to share the footage gave us a glimpse into how an ordinary night on the job turned into something unforgettable. For him, the silence of that workplace may never feel the same again. 14. The creature in the trunk. Road trips often carry a certain calm rhythm. Steady traffic, music playing softly, maybe a breeze through the window. But for one driver filming on a seemingly ordinary day, that calm was interrupted by something that no one expects to see: a pair of glowing eyes staring out from the trunk of the car ahead. The clip begins like countless other driving videos, dashboard view steady, the car in front framed neatly. At first, nothing is unusual. Then, as the driver zooms in, a pale shape can be seen shifting just enough to catch the light. Moments later, two bright eyes glimmer, unmistakably looking out. The person recording lets out a shaky gasp, a sound that feels less like surprise and more like raw disbelief. Commenters who analyzed the footage slowed it down and enhanced the brightness, pointing out that whatever was inside seemed to move independently of the car's bumps and turns. That detail made the video far more unnerving. If it had been a reflection or a trick of light, the movement would have been rigid. Instead, the eyes blinked, shifting slightly as if the creature, or person, was alive and aware. Of course, the explanations vary. Some argue it could have been a staged prank, maybe a doll placed in the trunk with lights reflecting just right. Others lean toward the possibility of an animal trapped inside, though no clear shape supports that theory. And then there are those who believe the video captured something beyond easy explanation, a fleeting glimpse into the unknown. What makes this entry particularly haunting isn't just the sight of glowing eyes, it's the reaction it drew from the driver. There's no laughter, no sense of it being planned. The voice cracking with panic suggests they were shaken to the core, caught between wanting to keep filming and wanting to look away. Even if this was just an illusion, the idea lingers. Imagine driving home late at night, headlights washing over the car ahead, only to see a face staring back at you from where no face should be. Whether creature, trick, or human, the thought of something hidden in plain sight stays with you long after the video ends. Sometimes it isn't the loud jump scares or dramatic edits that chill the most. It's the quiet suggestion that something might be watching, waiting, from a place as ordinary as the trunk of a car. 13. The wandering spirit. Security cameras often capture things we miss with the naked eye. For one homeowner, checking the footage revealed something that raised more questions than answers. The clip shows a quiet street in the middle of the night. Everything is still until a faint, translucent figure drifts slowly across the frame. It moves with a steadiness that doesn't match the stride of a living person. There are no sharp steps, only a slow, floating pace that gives the impression of something not fully anchored in the physical world. At first glance, you might think it's just a late-night passerby, but the timing and the hazy outline suggest otherwise. Viewers noticed that no sound accompanied the movement and no shadows formed the way they should under the streetlights. Some pointed out that the figure seemed too smooth, too detached from its surroundings, almost as if it were gliding. The homeowner who shared the video explained that no one in their family was outside at that hour. Even stranger, the property was tucked away in a quiet neighborhood with little foot traffic after dark. That made the appearance of this lone figure seem even more out of place. As is common with mysterious footage, theories began to swirl. Some suggested a simple camera glitch, perhaps a compression artifact, making it look like something was walking when it wasn't. Others speculated that it could be a person in light clothing blurred by poor resolution. But for many, the smooth drifting motion was too unusual to dismiss. What makes this video compelling is how understated it is. Nothing lunges at the camera, nothing slams or breaks. Instead, the eeriness comes from the calmness of the scene. Watching the spirit-like shape pass through without acknowledging anything else almost makes it more frightening. It's as though it had a purpose, moving along a path that no one else could see. The commentary online reflects that tension. Some viewers said it looked peaceful, almost protective, like a guardian moving past. Others felt the opposite, sensing that the figure's lack of reaction made it colder, distant, and uncanny. Both sides agree on one point: the footage is hard to shake. Moments like this remind us why simple home recordings can be more chilling than staged horror films. You're left staring, wondering if you just saw a glitch of technology, or if the camera captured a glimpse of something that truly doesn't belong. 12. The closet face. Bedrooms are meant to be safe spaces, but for one TikTok user, the place they rested became the backdrop for an unsettling discovery. The video begins quietly, the camera pointing toward a simple setup: bed in the foreground, a closet tucked into the corner. At first, there's nothing remarkable about it. The lighting is dim but stable, and the room appears completely ordinary. Then, if you look closely, you can see it: a pale, face-like figure peeking out from the narrow slit between the closet door and its frame. It doesn't blink or shift like a living person might. Instead, it stays unnervingly still, its presence subtle enough that many viewers only noticed it on replay. Seconds later, the closet door creaks open on its own, the mirror on its surface reflecting back the dim light of the room. The combination of the unmoving face and the shifting door makes for a truly chilling sequence. Some argued that the face could have been a trick of light, or perhaps a mask or poster propped inside. But others pointed out that the way the door moves independently suggests something more. The uploader offered no explanation, no prank reveal, no behind-the-scenes footage. That silence only added to the mystery. What makes this clip stick is the stillness. In horror films, we often brace for movement, for sudden jumps. But here, the terror comes from the opposite: the refusal of the figure to behave naturally. Human faces instinctively twitch, shift, or blink. This one did none of that. It was like staring at a photograph that shouldn't exist. Viewers reacted with a mix of fascination and discomfort. Some admitted they couldn't finish the clip, the idea of being watched in their own room hitting too close to home. Others dissected the footage frame by frame, convinced they were witnessing something paranormal. Even skeptics, while leaning toward staged trickery, agreed that the execution was unnerving. Whether real or staged, the video touches on a deep fear, being observed in private when you're most vulnerable. The bedroom is supposed to be the last place where eyes should appear from the shadows. That violation of safety is what makes this video effective. Even after the clip ends, the thought lingers. What if you closed your closet tonight, only to find someone or something quietly watching from within? 11. The Intruder and the Invisible Guest. For most people, home is the safest place you can be. But a young woman named Jeanette uploaded a video that suggests safety can vanish in a moment. Her clip begins with her nervously filming inside her apartment. She looks shaken, voice trembling as she whispers for someone to leave. The fear on her face is unmistakable, and it quickly becomes clear she isn't acting. In the background, her door suddenly opens without her touching it. She bolts, the camera swinging wildly as she scrambles to escape. Viewers later debated what exactly had happened. Was there an intruder in the apartment? Or was there something unseen that forced the door open? The lack of clarity is what makes the video haunting. Jeanette later posted a follow-up. In it, she tries to settle back into normal life, relaxing with her cat. But peace doesn't last long. Strange noises rise from another room, drawing her to investigate. At first, nothing appears wrong, but then the camera captures a detail she didn't expect. Clear indentations on her bed, as though someone invisible was sitting or pressing down right there. Her cat reacts too, shifting uneasily, ears twitching as though it senses something present. This second clip deepened the mystery. If it was only an intruder, how do you explain the marks appearing while she was filming? If it was only something paranormal, how do you explain the very real panic of her first video? Some commenters suggested that perhaps both forces were at play, someone physically breaking in while something else entirely lingered unseen. What makes this entry stand out is the dual nature of the threat. It isn't only about someone breaking into a private space, which is terrifying enough. It's also about the possibility of a presence that can't be explained away by locks or alarms. Viewers pointed out that Jeanette's fear seemed too raw to be staged. Her words stumble, her breathing quickens, and her camera handling is frantic. The story left people divided, but almost everyone agreed on one point. The combination of intruder and possible spirit presence makes these videos deeply unsettling. It's one thing to deal with a stranger in your home. It's another thing entirely to feel that even after the stranger leaves, something else remains behind. 10. The Metallic Spheres. Skywatchers often point their cameras upward expecting stars, satellites, or perhaps an airplane. But one video posted from Portugal captured something that didn't fit into any of those categories. The uploader first thought he had recorded a single metallic sphere drifting across the sky. But as he replayed and slowed down the footage, he realized there was more, many more. The video begins with one bright orb reflecting the sunlight as it moves smoothly above. At first, it seems harmless, almost like a balloon catching the wind. But when stabilized and slowed, additional orbs appear faintly in the background, moving along the same axis. Their alignment is uncanny, like a loose formation traveling in unison. What strikes viewers most is how these spheres behave. Balloons drift randomly, tossed by air currents, but these objects glide with steady precision. Birds too would flap or change direction. Yet the spheres maintain their course, their light glinting in ways that suggest solid, reflective surfaces. Some commenters argued they resembled satellites, possibly part of a launch. Yet those familiar with formations like Starlink pointed out that the movement wasn't consistent with typical patterns. The uploader later wrote that one of the spheres had passed directly overhead at a low altitude before the camera began rolling. That detail unsettled many viewers. A low-floating reflective object is far harder to explain away as a satellite. If true, it means the clip might have captured something tangible and close. Naturally, the debate flared. Skeptics leaned toward balloons or drones, while believers saw it as evidence of non-human craft. What keeps the mystery alive is how natural the footage feels. There are no sharp edits, no clear signs of trickery. The excitement and disbelief in the voices off camera also come across as genuine. What's fascinating is how these videos echo a long history of strange objects in the sky. From military pilots to everyday people, countless witnesses describe metallic spheres as the most common unexplained aerial shape. This clip adds one more piece to that puzzle, inviting speculation without ever giving a full answer. Regardless of what the objects were, the footage manages to tap into that universal feeling of looking up and realizing we don't know everything above us. The spheres may have been balloons, or they may have been something extraordinary. Either way, their silent flight across the sky leaves a lasting impression, one that pulls your eyes upward the next time you step outside at dusk. 9. The school at night. Schools at night carry a very different atmosphere than during the day. The familiar hallways that once echoed with chatter and laughter turn into long, silent passages. That eerie stillness sets the stage for one of the most unsettling videos filmed inside a school in Argentina. The clip shows a security worker and a colleague patrolling the darkened halls. At first, it seems like any routine sweep, their footsteps and murmured words echoing faintly. But then, they step into a classroom and everything changes. Without warning, a chair slides several feet across the floor, all on its own. Both men freeze for a moment before reacting instinctively, shouting in shock and bolting from the room. What makes this video so compelling is how ordinary it feels up until that point. There are no dramatic camera angles, no setup, just a phone held shakily as two people check on the empty building. The sudden movement of the chair feels raw and unscripted, heightened by the genuine panic in their voices. Some viewers speculated about hidden wires, magnets, or an elaborate prank staged for views. But if that were the case, the reactions of the two men are difficult to fake. You can hear the terror in their tone, the nervous laughter mixed with fear as they scramble away. Their instinct isn't to show off the moment, it's to get out. That natural response adds weight to the clip's authenticity. Of course, skeptics suggest alternative explanations. Could vibrations from outside traffic have shifted the chair? Could air currents or even a staged push have been involved? These are fair questions, yet none fully explain how the chair moves so smoothly and deliberately in plain sight. What makes this scenario even creepier is the setting itself. Schools are designed to be welcoming places, but at night, that friendliness disappears. The empty halls, the echoing rooms, and the knowledge that thousands of footsteps once filled the space. All of that turns into a backdrop for something unknown. When an object suddenly shifts, it feels like the building itself is alive, responding in ways no one expects. Even if the video had been staged, it succeeds in showing how ordinary environments can transform into terrifying ones under the right conditions. Whether caused by unseen forces or human trickery, the image of that chair sliding across the floor sticks in your mind. It leaves you wondering what else might be moving in the dark when the hallways fall silent. 8. The moving curtains. There's something unsettling about ordinary objects acting in ways they shouldn't. A quiet living room, a still night, and then movement where there should be none. That's the premise of a video that surfaced showing a set of curtains behaving as though they had a mind of their own. The recording begins in a dimly lit living room, the kind of space you'd expect to feel cozy and safe. Everything is silent until the camera pans toward the window. The curtains slowly shift open, revealing the glass behind them. The homeowner walks over, visibly uneasy, and pulls them shut again. Yet almost as if to mock the action, the curtains slide open once more. This repeats, with the curtains moving in an oddly deliberate manner, as though someone on the other side were tugging at them. But the homeowner is alone. No one else is present in the room, and there are no visible strings or devices that could explain it. The clip leaves viewers with the chilling impression that something unseen was trying to peer outside, or worse, inside. Naturally, explanations came flooding in. Some suggested drafts or air vents could be the culprit, pushing the fabric just right. but the consistent way the curtains parted each time seemed too patterned to chalk up to a random breeze. Others theorized about magnetic tracks or even hidden wires. Still, many agreed that the simplicity of the video is what makes it powerful. There are no dramatic edits or sudden loud noises, just a quiet room and fabric that shouldn't be moving. What deepens the unease is the behavior of the homeowner. They don't appear like someone setting up a prank. Their movements are tentative, almost cautious, as if they're testing the space itself. The decision to film feels like a last resort, proof that something beyond explanation was happening in their own home. This video resonates because it touches on a common fear, the thought of your home turning against you. Curtains are ordinary. They're not supposed to move unless we make them. But in this clip, they become a vehicle for mystery, transforming a simple living room into a stage for the uncanny. Whether the cause was natural, staged, or truly paranormal, the moving curtains remind us how even small details can become unforgettable. It's not the grand, dramatic moments that chill the most. It's the quiet, repeated nudges that suggest something else may be sharing the room with you. 7. The fast UAP. Sometimes the most unsettling footage is caught when no one is even looking for it. In one clip, a father was simply testing the slow motion feature on his new phone while recording his daughter and her friend at a park. At first, everything looks ordinary: children playing, the bright afternoon sky, and the smooth, slow motion capture of simple moments. But on playback, something extraordinary appeared. A fast-moving, unidentified object streaking across the frame. The strange part is not just its appearance, but its speed. Even though the entire video was slowed down, the object zipped by almost too quickly to notice. It darted across the sky like a flash of silver, far faster than a bird, drone, or bug could reasonably travel in a slow-motion capture. That detail is what made the footage stand out from countless other strange object clips online. Some skeptics suggested it could have been a small insect close to the lens, its blur exaggerated by the recording mode. Others believed it might be a bird caught at just the right angle, wings blending into the sky. But those explanations struggle against the undeniable fact that the object moves with a sharp, linear speed rather than a wobbling or fluttering one. The uploader himself seemed baffled, admitting that he hadn't noticed the object at the time. It was only later, when reviewing the video on a larger screen, that the anomaly became clear. That honest surprise resonated with viewers, who debated fiercely over whether the clip showed a genuine UAP. What makes the moment compelling is the contrast. The slow motion setting exaggerates every detail. Children's laughter becomes stretched. Hair moves as if underwater, and time itself feels thick. Against that slowed backdrop, the rapid dart of the unknown object feels even more unnatural. It doesn't belong in the slowed world the camera created. Some saw the footage as proof that extraordinary technology might exist, something capable of maneuvering at speeds beyond what we can normally detect. Others viewed it as a reminder of how much our eyes miss in real time, only catching glimpses when technology helps us pause and look closer. Whether insect, camera glitch, or something beyond explanation, the fast UAP left a lasting mark on viewers. It's the kind of clip that pushes you to glance up more often, wondering what else might be streaking across the sky, unseen, while you go about your day. 6. The haunted house dog. Pets often notice things long before humans do. Their senses pick up details we might miss, shifts in sound, movement, or even presence. That's why a video featuring a dog inside a supposedly haunted house resonated so strongly with viewers. Animals, after all, don't fake reactions for the camera. The clip begins simply enough, a man filming inside a dimly lit home, its old walls and cluttered rooms already setting an eerie tone. His dog trots ahead, tail wagging slightly, as if curious but cautious. For the first few moments, nothing stands out. Then the dog freezes, ears pointed sharply toward a corner of the room. A low growl escapes its throat, followed by sharp barking. The camera swings in the same direction, but the space looks empty. No person, no shadow, no clear cause. Yet the dog refuses to relax. It continues barking, even lunging slightly, as though someone invisible were standing there. That's when the unease deepens. Suddenly, a door in the background moves on its own, creaking shut as if nudged by an unseen hand. The dog's barking grows frantic, pacing in circles before retreating closer to its owner. What makes this video particularly chilling is the contrast between human perception and animal instinct. The man filming seems bewildered, whispering nervously as he tries to calm his pet. But the dog's unwavering focus on that one spot makes it feel as though the unseen presence is undeniable. Dogs don't typically act with such intensity unless something truly disturbs them. Comment sections lit up with debate. Some argued it could have been a draft or vibrations moving the door, while others pointed out how coincidental it was that the door shifted right after the dog started reacting. A few skeptics suggested training or off-screen cues might have influenced the animal. Still, many agreed the dog's raw, unfiltered behavior looked authentic. Part of what makes this moment stick is how familiar it feels. Many pet owners have experienced that eerie instance when their cat stares at a corner of the room or their dog growls at an empty hallway. This video amplifies that unsettling feeling, showing it unfold in real time, paired with physical activity in the house itself. Even without definitive proof, the haunted house dog leaves a lingering thought. Maybe our pets are tuned into something we can't see. And if they bark into the dark with that kind of urgency, maybe it's best to pay attention. 5. The pyramid in the sky. Cities often create illusions in the sky, reflections on glass, unusual clouds, or tricks of perspective. But a video uploaded years ago from a dreary day in an urban center seemed to capture something that didn't fit into those categories at all. The camera begins by showing a tall skyscraper. The weather looks heavy and gray, nothing out of the ordinary. Then the lens zooms in, and that's when things take a surreal turn. Floating just beside the building is a massive pyramid-shaped object. It appears to hover with a calm steadiness, its structure sharp enough to stand out against the clouds. For several seconds, the object remains visible, drifting slowly around the building before the footage cuts off. There is no crash, no sudden disappearance, just a silent, unexplained shape moving in plain daylight. The first reaction most viewers had was disbelief. Some assumed it must be a kite or a balloon caught in a strong air current. Others wondered if it was a cleverly edited visual effect. But those who studied the clip closely pointed out that the edges of the pyramid reflected light in a way balloons rarely do, and its movement lacked the wobble of something simply floating. What makes the footage so gripping is its sheer simplicity. There are no jump scares or sudden noises, only the quiet zoom of a camera capturing a form that should not be there. The ordinariness of the background, the skyscraper, the muted weather, contrasts sharply with the strangeness of the hovering shape, amplifying its impact. Debate quickly spread. Could it have been a military drone with a strange design? Was it an optical illusion caused by reflections in the camera lens? Or did the video briefly capture something entirely unknown? The fact that the video ends without explanation only strengthens its staying power. Part of what unsettles viewers is the symbol of the pyramid itself. Throughout history, pyramids have been associated with mystery, power, and the unknown. Seeing one suspended in the sky, silent and massive, triggers a deep unease. It feels both ancient and futuristic, as if bridging two worlds at once. Even if it was simply a man-made trick, the pyramid in the sky remains one of those rare moments where a camera captures an image that refuses to be easily categorized. Whether natural, staged, or extraordinary, the video continues to draw eyes upward, leaving people to wonder what shapes might still be waiting above the clouds. 4. The child's silhouette. Late at night, flashing police lights already bring tension to a neighborhood. In one particular video, the tension turned into something more mysterious. A woman named Diana filmed outside her home as multiple patrol cars lined the street. Officers gathered around an RV across the road, their flashlights cutting through the dark. At first, it looked like a standard call, the kind of late-night response that doesn't usually involve anything unusual. Then, in the glow of a cruiser's headlights, a faint silhouette appeared. Shaped like a child, the figure stood in front of the car for just a moment before vanishing as an officer walked past. When the camera panned back, the shape flickered into view again, only to fade once more. Viewers who slowed down the footage confirmed what Diana had seen: a small figure lingering where no one should have been. The unsettling detail is that the RV involved had a tragic history. According to neighbors, the man who lived inside had passed away suddenly, and years earlier, his young child had also lost their life. That backstory fueled speculation that the figure caught on camera wasn't just a trick of light. It might have been a lingering presence tied to that family. Of course, skeptics quickly offered other explanations. Some suggested it was a reflection on the windshield, the kind of visual anomaly that can happen when flashing lights meet camera sensors. Others thought it might have been another person, partially blocked from view. Still, the repeated appearances and timing of the silhouette made those answers feel incomplete. What adds weight to the clip is Diana's own reaction. She wasn't trying to make a ghost video. She was filming out of confusion about the heavy police response. The silhouette wasn't the focus until it appeared unexpectedly on her recording. That honesty is what convinced many viewers that the moment carried genuine mystery. There's also the emotional element. Seeing a childlike figure in such a setting sparks something deeper than fear. It creates a sense of sadness and curiosity. If it truly was a spirit, why appear then, in front of flashing police cars and strangers? Was it reaching for recognition, or was it simply replaying a presence tied to the RV's past? Whether optical illusion or something paranormal, the video leaves a lasting impression. The fleeting shadow of a child in the glow of sirens makes even skeptics pause, reminding us how moments of tragedy can echo long after the night ends. 3. The white shadow. Home security cameras are designed to give peace of mind, catching small movements that would otherwise go unnoticed. But in one case, a recording captured something that did the exact opposite. A family reported that their alarm triggered in the middle of the night. Curious, they reviewed the footage, and what they saw has unsettled thousands of viewers since. The video begins with the camera showing a still corner of the home. At first, nothing moves. Then, slowly, a hazy white figure glides across the frame. Unlike dust or mist, it carries shape and form. More strikingly, it casts a shadow as it passes, something that's rare in most alleged orb or light anomaly clips. That single detail set this video apart from countless others, sparking long threads of debate online. Some argued that the shadow meant it had real presence, like a person physically walking through the room. Others believed it could have been a camera error, the type that creates overlapping images in low light. But the steady, fluid motion doesn't match the stutter of a malfunction. It looks deliberate, smooth, and oddly graceful. The homeowners themselves seemed unnerved, but cautious. They didn't claim it was a ghost, only that the figure couldn't be explained by anyone in the house. That matter-of-fact presentation, without sensational claims, gave the clip more credibility. It wasn't a dramatized ghost hunt. It was simply a family trying to understand what their own security system had caught. The audience response was split. Believers saw it as clear proof that spirits can interact with the physical world, pointing again to the shadow as evidence. Skeptics leaned on environmental explanations, suggesting it could have been smoke, headlights filtering oddly through windows, or even a stray insect reflecting light in just the right way. Yet, even skeptics admitted the way the figure cast a proper shadow was difficult to dismiss. What makes this video so effective is its quiet subtlety. There's no dramatic scream, no sudden crash, just the calm recording of something that shouldn't be there. The ordinary setting, a simple room in a simple home, contrasts with the extraordinary image drifting across it. In the end, the white shadow remains one of those rare clips where both believers and skeptics find themselves equally engaged. Whether a trick of light or something more, it lingers in the mind, reminding us that even the safest places can hold mysteries just waiting to appear on screen. 2. The shadow on the wall. Sometimes the most frightening moments happen not when something is clearly visible, but when something flickers at the edge of sight. One TikTok user discovered this after checking their home security footage late at night. At first, the video seems uneventful. A quiet living room sits in view, with only dim light spilling across the walls. But then, in just a few seconds, something unexpected occurs. If you watch closely, a dark, human-like shape appears along the far wall. It lingers only for a moment, slipping out of sight as quickly as it came. The shadow doesn't match the position of the furniture, nor does it move in sync with the lighting of the room. It seems to have its own direction and pace, almost as though it belonged to someone just outside the frame. The homeowner admitted they were alone at the time. That detail immediately ruled out the obvious explanation of another person casting it. What unsettled viewers even more was how the shadow appeared and vanished with such precision, not like a random flicker, but like a purposeful glance. Theories quickly poured in. Some suggested it was a glitch in the camera sensor, creating an artificial patch of darkness that looked like a silhouette. Others believed it could have been a bug, flying close to the lens, briefly distorting the image. While both are possible, the clear outline of the figure left many doubting those technical explanations. The strongest reactions came from people who had experienced similar moments at home, those times when a corner of the eye catches movement that vanishes when you turn. For them, this video was proof that such moments might not be imagination after all. What makes this clip particularly haunting is how relatable it feels. Unlike grand paranormal spectacles, this one unfolds in the type of room we all recognize. It could be your living room, your hallway, your walls. That normality is what fuels the unease. The idea that your own home might hold fleeting presences that cameras catch more honestly than our eyes. Even if the shadow was nothing more than a trick of light, the timing and shape were too sharp to dismiss entirely. Watching the figure slip across the wall leaves a lasting question. If shadows don't move on their own, then what was standing just out of frame? 1. The midnight gathering. Few videos capture the unsettling power of groups. While a single strange sight can be brushed off, seeing many figures acting in unison triggers a much deeper fear. One of the most disturbing clips to circulate online shows what appears to be a gathering in the woods, though not the kind anyone would expect. The footage begins with two friends walking along a dirt path late at night. They're laughing quietly, their flashlights swinging back and forth. The mood feels casual until one of them points the light toward an opening between the trees. There, dozens of shapes stand motionless in the darkness. At first, it's hard to tell whether they are people or something else. The camera zooms slightly, revealing outlines that look human but lack detail. They don't speak, they don't move. They just stand, arranged in a loose circle, as though waiting. The two friends whisper nervously, unsure if they're witnessing a group ritual, a prank, or something unexplainable. Then, almost in perfect timing, the figures all turn their heads toward the camera at once. The sudden shift breaks the friends' courage. Their voices crack with panic as they stumble backward, the footage jolting wildly before cutting off. That final image, the synchronized movement of dozens of heads, was enough to freeze viewers in shock. Naturally, theories spread quickly. Some argued it could have been a staged performance, actors dressed in dark clothing meant to spook anyone passing by. Others suggested it was simply a group gathering taken out of context, perhaps religious or cultural. But even those explanations didn't fully account for the precision of the movements or the silence that blanketed the scene. What makes the midnight gathering so effective is the psychology behind it. Humans instinctively fear groups that act in ways we don't understand. When people move or stare in perfect unison, it strips away individuality and becomes something alien. This video tapped directly into that instinct, leaving viewers unsettled long after the clip ended. Even if staged, the impact is undeniable. The setting, a quiet forest at night, already primes the mind for unease. Add in dozens of silent, watchful figures, and the result is unforgettable. The midnight gathering reminds us that fear doesn't always come from the unknown alone. Sometimes it comes from the familiar, figures that look like us, but behave in ways that feel entirely wrong. It's that slight shift from ordinary to unnatural that makes the clip one of the scariest ever caught on camera.